What's up, witches? This is a continuation of the video I did earlier this week where I just showed you really quickly what I've been doing to cleanse all of my crystals. So on that note, like I always say, I'm really new to practicing paganism. So this is all a learning experience for me just as much as it is for you. But it's something that I've at least been interested in for a long time. So I have quite an extensive crystal collection already, some of which I've had since childhood. It turns out my aunt is actually a Wiccan, which I didn't really know until kind of coming out of the broom closet myself, so to speak. So she's been giving me crystals and kind of books on magic my whole life. I just didn't really know what I wanted to do with that information until now. So some of my crystals I've had for years and years. Some are new. Some I just bought recently after deciding to become a Norse pagan. So in this video, I just wanted to go over some basic principles surrounding crystals and what are they good for? Are they good for anything? Is it all just woo-woo new age nonsense? Stay tuned and find out. Before I start off, let me just issue, a basic disclaimer again that this is just all from my own readings. I'm not an expert in chakras or energy work or Reiki or any of that by any means. I have a basic understanding and am able to get in touch with my own energy on a very low informal level, but I'm still really new to a lot of this aspect of things, so I definitely would like to learn more about chakras and energy work and how to incorporate them and crystals into a practice, into spells, into grounding and healing, meditation, all of that fun stuff. But have I really done any of that yet myself? No. So, yeah, there are many others out there online, on YouTube, out there in the internet, which will be a way more informative and in-depth resource than I am on all of this stuff. But I'm just gonna tell you what I know, what I think, what my opinions are, so do not come for me. I have one book that I've had for a long time on crystals that I have read somewhat before, but I need to go back now that I'm actually wanting to develop like a pagan witchcraft practice and read this more in depth. But here's my book. It's Crystal Healing by Simon Lilly, and this is a really good intro book to crystals in general. It kind of goes into like scientific properties. It has pictures. It goes into like healing layouts that you could do with crystals. So some of my information is taken from there. Some is just from other places on the interwebs and what have you. So as always, check your sources. Don't believe anything I tell you because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just rambling. Crystals. What are they? A crystal, and here's my big clear quartz crystal. A crystal is a mineral in its purest form. And one thing that I thought was interesting when I was reading over this crystal book the other night, getting ready to make this video, is that it said that crystals are actually only formed from a gas or a liquid, mixed with different other elements, because only when the atoms are just floating in that formless state of a liquid or gas are they free enough to therefore form these perfect crystalline structures when they harden. So I thought that was interesting that only a formless substance can be transformed into a crystal, which is one of the most stable forms of matter in the universe. Because every crystal is arranged according to its own crystal lattice structure. But, unfortunately, as with all things in nature, it's very rare that you will find a perfect naturally formed crystal lattice, but it's still an interesting concept. And scientifically, one thing that we do know about crystals is that they act as transducers. So it's almost like a prism where, like, when you direct white light into the prism, it'll refract and split it up into the full color spectrum. Acting as a transducer means that they can convert one form of energy into another. And that's actually why you will see crystals used in a lot of our modern technology. We have LED displays, watches, timepieces, computer parts. All things that we use today and think of as technology are actually using crystals, because you can put one type of energy, be it kinetic or whatever, into the crystal, and it almost acts as a perpetual motion device. That's why you see them used in watches a lot, because they'll just vibrate forever if you feed them energy to convert and just power your device endlessly. So what are some of the things that we can do with crystals? Besides technology, an interesting property of crystals that you will see mentioned a lot is something called the piezoelectric effect. And what that is, the example that this book used is that, if you're in the dark and you crush a sugar cube, which sugar is a crystalline structure, you can see green sparks or energy coming off of it, almost like if it's dark and you touch a staticky blanket, sometimes you'll see the static charge. Crystals give off that same effect, either when that crystal structure is deformed as in crushing, or when you apply a direct electric current to it, or in order to deform it, it gives off that electric effect. And so I just think there are a lot of mysterious, untapped, unharnessed potential within crystals and their properties, which, if you ask me, in my crazy Atlantis conspiracy theory head, I think that that's what a lot of ancient advanced civilizations would have used to base a lot of their magic, technology, whatever you want to call it. I think a lot of it might have been based off of crystals, because as I've said, a lot of our own modern day scientific breakthroughs are based on computers. And I think something that my tech husband was even mentioning, that I've heard going around on the internet recently, is breakthroughs surrounding quantum computing, which is computing almost at an atomic or subatomic level. And I think that's something that they're also using crystals for. All the pieces are there. Somebody who knows more about science and math than me just needs to do something with that. But I think that there is a lot more to it than just the witchy woo new age stuff that people dismiss it as. But getting into the more magical side of things, like I said, this is something that I'm still new to myself. This is just based on my own research, and so what I need to start getting into the habit more this year is getting out of the books and getting into the hands-on experience. I wanted to go over some basic concepts that you will see in a lot of resources for just crystal healing in general, energy work in general, which a lot of times you will see based off of the chakras, which is a Hindu Indo-European concept based in those Eastern traditions, where you have 7 chakras, or energy centers within the body, and they go up from, the base of your spine all the way to the crown of your head. They each correspond with a different color of the rainbow, and, just different aspects or centers of health, emotion, and well-being. And one thing that I found very interesting and exciting coming into Norse paganism and starting to learn about this path is that not only do I already see a lot of similarities between Norse shamanistic concepts and Proto-Indo-European, Vedic, Sanskrit. I already see a lot of similarities between myths, between deities, between, some cosmological concepts, but my mind was blown when I started to see pictures floating around of a Norse concept and a diagram that looks just like the chakra diagram, only they call it the Hvel, Hvel, which, like chakra, means wheel. And this is another thing that you will see Starhawk touch on a lot in The Spiral Dance, which is a book that I recommended in my top 10 neo-pagan reading recommendations video, is The Spiral Dance, because it's more Wicca-based, but The Spiral Dance just really touches on that basic concept of energy being a spiral. And Jacob, Wisdom of Odin, touched on this in his most recent video when he talked about the labyrinths. You'll see this spiral, this wheel concept crop up a lot in ancient practices and imagery from around the world. You'll see it in Celtic imagery, you'll see it in the Triskelion, you'll see it in the labyrinths. And it all, to me, ties back into this concept of as above, so below. Like our galaxy is a spiral, our own internal energies are a spiral. And I think that's kind of why this concept is so rooted in our collective psyche. But getting into it, I just wanted to show off my crystal collection. I have some basic crystals here that I use just for general working, and then when I had first started reading this book and thinking about getting into Wicca, getting into energy Reiki type practices, I had gone out and started to collect crystals corresponding with each of the chakras and each of the colors that they go with. So I'll touch just really basically on the different chakras and their colors and what they're associated with, and then show off the individual crystals that I have for each one. That I just wanted to say as just some basic advice for anyone who's interested in crystals and in maybe starting your own collection if you don't really have a lot yet and you want to just get some basic pieces. Honestly, this is just what works best for me, and what I feel like doing intuitively, and just based on what I've read and collected over the years. But go with what speaks to you. One of my favorite things to do is just to go into my local new age shop, or in my case right now I go to the hippie shop down the street, but they also sell crystals and new age things, and just look around, just see what they have, and even if I don't know what it is, what its name is, and what it would be typically said to be used for or correspond with, who cares? If it looks pretty and it speaks to you and you feel like you need it or want it for something, just get it, and don't be afraid. Last time I was there looking for things, I'm kind of really shy and have a hard time speaking out, and I don't want to feel like I'm bothering anybody. Don't feel pressured to hurry. Don't be afraid to ask, hey, can I see this specific crystal right there? Can I touch them? Can I handle them? Because I just really wanted to see them all and feel which ones felt like they were speaking to me. So just go with whatever calls out to you. And if you feel like going online, honestly, mostly I'll just Google it and try to I'll pick out stones and figure out what they are after the fact by trying to Google it. At the end of the day, just trust your gut. So On that note, let me go over my little basic stones that I have here first, and then I'll go into like my chakra healing work type stones. So this one you've already seen in my altar tour videos and in the crystal cleansing I did yesterday. This is my big clear quartz. I don't even know what you call it. But I bought this to kind of act as like a paperweight on my desk back when I was dealing with a really negative work environment. And so whenever I was having a bad day, I would just like kind of hold it, look at it, and put it in the sun, and use it to help me cleanse and ground energy. And so that's still what I plan on using it for. Right now, it's just kind of been sitting on my Freya altar. So I really hope to start developing more of an actual practice this year. My next big one that I've also had for a while is my amethyst ore. I've always loved amethyst. It's always been one of my favorites. Amethyst and clear quartz are both really good all-purpose stones. Clear quartz is really good, like I said, for grounding, cleansing, any type of healing work. It's just a good all-purpose stone because it doesn't really have any color or correspondence. You can substitute it for anything. And the same kind of goes with amethyst. I think because of its purple color, violet is usually associated more with like higher consciousness type things, dream work, creativity, spirituality, like inner workings. But it's just good for overall like lifting and boosting and amplifying anything that you add it to. I got this to kind of also use for healing work, for like sometimes I would put it under my pillow to help with dreams. Sometimes I've used it like to do like back rubs and massage because it's nice and cool and smooth. I've always joked, like, even if it's a placebo effect, I'll take it. If it works, it's good enough for me. My other big one another one I've had since childhood. I think my aunt gave this one to me. This is a rose quartz. They're usually very pink, but this one is quite pale. It's almost clear, but it's a very pale pink color. And I like to use this for general spell work or like a touchstone because it's big and very smooth, again, a tumble stone. But rose quartz is another good basic stone to have in your collection because it's good for love, heart, emotions, relationships, all that good stuff. So that's another one I always like to have and to work with. And I think that's another favorite of Freya's as well, being a goddess of love. Here is a raw amethyst that I've also had for years. I think this was another gift from childhood. This is just another good general all-purpose stone to have in your collection. Some other ones that you can never go wrong with. I think this is like either onyx or black tourmaline. I'm honestly not sure, but any type of black stone is good for absorbing and grounding negative energy and just warding off negativity and helping to ground, cleanse, repel any of those types of things. These are some recent purchases. Hope you can see them okay. I just film on my phone. I'm not fancy here. This is chalcedony. These are gray. It's kind of an opaque, milky stone. I picked these up at the local hippie shop after coming to Norse paganism because honestly, like, I didn't know what they were. They just spoke to me. I felt like I wanted them for the Odin altar because I had some like gray candles and just gray and these cloudy, smoky, opaque quality to it was just traits that I associated with Odin, so I picked them up for him. And when I looked it up, it turned out that chalcedony is a really good stone to use for promoting communication, harmony, brotherhood, coming to agreements. And that is like Odin's whole bag, baby. So sometimes, just go with your gut and it'll work out. The last major one out of like my generic everyday working spellwork stones, whatever you want to call it, is another one I picked up along with the chalcedony, and this was a great find. This is one of my favorites. Look at that. And I believe this is aragonite, and it all grows in these like big, blocky, cylindrical facets like this. And what's cool about this one is, I don't know if you can see, but it's like radiating out from this central cluster. And to me, it looks like the Hagalaz rune. I believe from the younger Futhark, because the elder one is just like that H symbol, but it looks like a rune. I'll have to look it up because I can't remember off the top of my head like what the specific properties of this stone are, but just the shape that it was in, I had to pick it up to add to my collection. Because if you ask me, just the fact that like hail by itself usually means like crisis, destruction, like weathering a storm, I think it can also be used as like a talisman against those types of things. So part of me almost wants to like make a bracelet or like a piece of jewelry out of this that I can take around with me and wear as a protective amulet. But that is definitely something that I have been using a lot in spellwork lately. This little collection here, which hopefully I can like show you without throwing all over the floor, but it's just a little box full of assorted gems and minerals, which I was really excited to find yesterday because I thought I had lost this. This was another souvenir from childhood that I believe I got as a gift from Arizona. So again, something I've had since I was really young. I just had completely forgot I even owned this. And even if I had remembered, I probably would have just assumed it was lost to time. It's that old. But I found it in the back of a drawer yesterday when I was just looking for something else random that I had misplaced. Now to get into the nitty-gritty. So I'm going to go over the basics of the chakra colors and what they correspond with, and then show you my individual collection of crystals for chakras and healing work and all of that good stuff, which I hope to learn more about as I grow in my path as a pagan. So the first chakra, the base chakra, which is the very base of your spine, like your tailbone, your butt chakra, is associated with the color red. And so being the base chakra, it is all associated with all your base instincts, with groundedness, with earthiness, just how in touch, how stable you are in your day-to-day life, basic survival instincts, and how well can you integrate those instincts into your everyday life as a civilized person. So if that chakra energy is off, you might be having a hard time just kind of getting through the day and finding some groundedness and some stability. My stone that I have for the red chakra is red jasper. So I have this disc, and then this one that I found yesterday, along with those other assorted gems in the drawer. So these are a nice red, earthy stone. As you can see, they don't have a lot of shine or luster. They're completely opaque. And so to me, just the color alone and the fact that it was kind of not a crystal as much as like a mineral or a rock, really to me corresponded with that base earthy chakra. So the next level up from red is orange, and that is the sacral chakra, which sits kind of in your like lower abdomen. And the way that this book described it was that orange is all of the like passion and energy of the red chakra kind of integrated with the yellow one above it. So it's kind of learning to temper your passion and your energy with that stable grounding higher intelligence of the yellow chakra. So it's energy and creativity, passion, sexual passion, harnessed toward a purpose, harnessed toward creativity, growth, all those good things. So the stone that I have for this one is a tiger's eye. And what I really liked about this one is that it had kind of like two poles to it, where there's like a black on one end and white on the other. And so with this chakra being that kind of transition between the red and the orange, I thought this stone tied in with that really well, with kind of having the black to act as the grounding base of the stone, and then the white on the other end to help channel that energy up the chakras. And so I have that one, and then the other one is amber. And so this is a new purchase that I'm really happy with and excited about. It's a little amber pendant in the shape of a claw or a horn for my main gal Freya. So that's just something that I wanted to have to go with my heirloom amber ring that I wear in dedication to Freya as my patroness, to have something to match that. Tiger's Eye and amber are both just really good, healing, warm, calm stones. Amber in particular is supposed to be good for like balancing the nervous system and nervous energy, which I could definitely use some help with. I am one neurotic Nelly sometimes, let me tell you. It actually is a resin. It's made from petrified tree sap from like pine trees and stuff. So it's not actually a crystal. So when you hold it, it kind of like absorbs your body heat, which I think is why it had a lot of special properties associated with it. And it would also like absorb static electricity. So one of the earlier names for amber was electrum. And so even though it's not a crystal, I think it definitely still has some interesting magical properties, because it's still kind of something that was once in one state of matter, which has now been transformed into another. And I think anything that kind of has that quality, where with like the crystals being gas and liquids mixed with elements and solidified into solid matter, just that act alone of transformation, I feel like imbues these things with a special magical property, a special type of energy, which then maybe we can learn to harness. Next, after orange, is yellow, which is the solar plexus chakra right here, kind of under your diaphragm, under your breastbone. And that corresponds with yellow, sun, happiness, all those good feelings, harmony, clarity, your own like personal energy, personal power is all centered in here. And so it's just about your self-esteem, your willpower, the energy that you have every day to just kind of live in the world and see it with a clear head. The crystals that I have for that are citrine. Here's the one I had originally bought, and then this is a newer one that I bought along with a couple others to specifically put on the Freya altar. This one, is pretty much solid yellow, so I thought that would be good for yellow chakra work. And then this one, I really liked that it was kind of a mix between a milkier white and then clear, and then we had just some like really clear, bright orange, golden yellow bits in there. I think citrine, just being a sunny stone, is also one that Freya is particular to. But that's just my opinion. And then after that, we have the, it's sometimes green, sometimes pink, because it is the heart chakra. And so it's all about, heart, connection with yourself, love, self-love, finding that balance, emotional balance, intimacy, vitality. The stones that I have for that are a moss agate, which is another little disc here, and I just really liked that it had the striations of like gray with the green, and it just seemed like moss agate, having moss in the name, is just a very earthy, down to earth, grounding, balancing stone, and I am a very emotionally unstable person at times. I know that about myself. I work on that about myself every damn day. The struggle is real. So yeah, I need some emotional groundedness. The other one, like I said, that's really good for emotions, love, relationships, is rose quartz. Here's another small one that I have. So yeah, green, pink, both. I've seen both. I've seen them used together interchangeably. I think it's normally green, but because we associate, especially in Western culture, love with pink and red a lot, and just with, rose quartz being a love association stone in general, I think is that where that pink color association also comes into play. I think the only one that I'm missing is my indigo colored stone. I haven't been able to find it yet, but next is like blue or turquoise, and so that is your throat chakra. So that is associated with speaking, communication, wisdom, truth, learning, understanding, all that good stuff. And so the one that I have for that is a blue lace agate. It's very light, milky blue stone, has some striations in there, which I liked. And then the reason why I picked this one out is that I liked that, I don't know if you can see, but it almost has, come on camera, it almost has this like spotted, cloudy effect, these like milky white occlusions under the surface here, which I thought added to the lacy effect of the lace agate. And then the other thing I liked is that it had these other inclusions kind of sticking out of it here in all different colors. I know you can't see very well, I'm sorry, but yeah, there's like all these little tiny grains, almost like just grains of sand, embedded in this little fissure in the stone, and they're white, green, brown, orange, just all different colors. I think the chalcedony being tied to communication, and Odin being tied to communication, and therefore probably also with the throat chakra, chalcedony would probably be a good one to use for that too. The other one that you could use is turquoise. I have a lot of turquoise jewelry, and then I have a couple small turquoise stones, but turquoise is also, being a very like earthy mineral, is good at strengthening, protecting, grounding. So after that, we have the indigo chakra, which is the third eye chakra. So between your brows here, that's the only one I haven't been able to find yet. I did have a lapis lazuli, which I had bought to correspond with that, but I don't know where it is right now. Lapis lazuli is a dark indigo stone, dark blue stone, kind of like a royal blue. So it's been a stone associated with royalty often in history for that reason. So it's just another good stone at releasing stress, helping you heal mentally, spiritually, physically, just kind of all around promoting higher thinking, higher understanding and clarity, giving insight, all that good stuff. And then the final one is the violet chakra. Sometimes it's white or clear, which is your crown chakra at the tippy top of your head. And the little tiny baby stone I have for that is a little blue fluorite pyramid, or not blue, purple, a little purple fluorite pyramid. And I was also very happy yesterday because this was the only one that I had not been able to find in my collection, and it being so small, I just assumed that it was lost somewhere in my house forever, and who knows if I was ever going to see it again. So, but when I was in here straightening up the other day, it just kind of tumbled out of a random stack of papers and crap that I had thrown in here, so had to pour one out for like Loki or whoever was helping me out yesterday, because normally I have a tendency to always be misplacing things, and so for once someone was looking out for me and helping me find things that I couldn't find. But yeah, I have a little purple fluorite pyramid here. I liked the pyramid shape. Pyramid is just another sacred shape. And so that is the one I have for the crown chakra, because that is your chakra of higher consciousness, enlightenment, understanding, awareness. Basically, what you want to do with any type of chakra work, energy work, you'll see it talked about in yoga a lot too, because yoga is originally supposed to be a way to help cleanse and direct the body's energy flows and work with your chakras, which is another reason I probably really like yoga. But basically, once you understand these chakras and their basic concept and correspondences, the idea is that anytime you want to ground yourself, charge yourself up physically, spiritually, mentally, if you're feeling a little drained, you're getting ready to do an offering, you're getting ready to do divination, you're getting ready to do a ritual, ground your energy first. And what I try to visualize is that you're a tree and your roots at your feet are stretching down into the ground. You're drawing up that energy from Mother Earth through that red base chakra, all the way up through the colors, and all the way up to your crown chakra, and even further reaching out through the top of your head, in the branches of the tree, into the light, into that higher energy, and you are acting as the conduit for the as above, so below. You are the channel, and you're raising up that energy within yourself. You're drawing on it from the earth and the air around you, and these chakras are just a really good concept for learning to get in touch with that energy within yourself and to work with it, which is something that I hope to learn more about and practice more and get more experience at myself. But yeah, this book is a really good resource. The complete illustrated guide to crystal healing. I'll put a little description down below. I don't know if it's still in print. I've had it for a long time, but I will see if it is. And I hope this was not too long or rambly, and at least somewhat helpful and informative for you. There are a lot of in-depth resources out there on chakras if you want to know more about that concept, but this was just kind of my basics and my corresponding crystal collection. So I hope you liked seeing it, and until next time.